E is the most wickedest, if that's a word. I guess wickedest is a word. E is the most wickedest man on the planet Earth. Now, what I did was I went to Google and I typed in a search engine, the white man is the most. No, I didn't write that. I said, who is the most wickedest race on the planet Earth? And this is what popped up from Reddit. Anyway, it says the white man is, they might take this down anyway, but it says the white man is the most evil race on the planet Earth. I think I said evil. Who's the most evil race on the planet Earth? It says the white man enslaved Africans for labor, Deuteronomy 28:68, Deuteronomy 28:47 on down, Deuteronomy 30:31, verses 31, 32. Pretty much Deuteronomy 28 talks about when the Romans took us down, which were the descendants of E, and currently the descendants of E, which is the Roman Empire all over again, back here again. So this first line or first sentence, the white man enslaved Africans for labor. And this was a fulfillment of the Israelites going into slavery. It says in the book of Isaiah, matter of fact, let me go to it. Let me go to it. And I'll make this short, super short. Isaiah 22, verse 18. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball. That's talking about us being in the slave ships, the Middle Passage. You know, you have the triangular slave trade where they left from Europe. They went to, Europe with goods. They dropped them off, I believe, in Africa. I did a video on it, but they would take things like cocoa and other things, and they would bring it to another part of the world. Then they would take some other things and go to another part of the world. They would have an empty ship. Then they would go to Africa. I'm sorry. They went from Europe. They had goods that they had in the ship. They were bringing down to Africa. The next cargo were slaves, were Israelites from West Africa. Then they would take them to America. That's why so many of our people are in America, because we were, forced to come over here on cargo slave ships. All right. And the ball represents the buoyancy. When you throw a ball, inflated ball in the water, it floats. Same thing with a boat. So a boat is like a ball. So they would go to the Americas. They would go to the USA, drop the slaves off, and I believe they would get other items and bring it back to Europe. So that was called a triangle slave trade, and that's a fulfillment of most of Deuteronomy 28. Let me do this. Let me go to Google. Let me put in triangle okay, ULAR slave trade, triangular slave trade. Okay, let me blow this picture up. Okay, Encyclopedia Britannica, Inc. Kenny Schmickslesky, whatever. The triangular slave trade was the second of three stages of the so-called triangular trade, in which arms, textiles, and wine, they have sold a girl for wine that they may drink, was shipped from Europe to Africa because they had the slave trade. They had to give them those goods to get slaves. Enslaved people from Africa, West Africa, which were the Israelites, to the Americas, the fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:68, the fulfillment of Joel 3, and sugar, tobacco, and other products from America back to Europe. That's why it was called the triangular slave trade. Let me go to the drop-down menu. On the first leg of their three-part journey, often called the triangular trade, not the triangular slave trade, but the triangular trade. The second part of that, the second step of that trade is Jake going into the Americas. European ships brought, which like a ball in Isaiah, what is that? Isaiah 22:18, I think. There's Isaiah 22, verse 18. On the second, they transported African men, which are Israelites, women, and children to the Americas to serve as slaves. And on the third leg, they exported, coming back over here, they exported sugar, tobacco, and other products from America back to Europe. All right? So here's a picture right here. I'll blow it up. Okay. So they would come from Europe. They would bring textiles and other goods, and they would drop it off, and they would get slaves. Notice that was West Africa. And they would, this is the second part. And then the third part, the second part is taking slaves to America, and then taking sugar and other things and bringing them back to Europe. So this was a European thing. You had Europeans over here. They were in cahoots. The Edomites over here and the Edomites over here, they were in cahoots. So this truth is definitely coming out. Let me find this again. So it says the white man enslaved Africans for labor. How'd they get over here? In cargo slave ships. Come back to it. Isaiah 22, verse 18. He shall surely violently turn and toss thee, the Israelites, that he is the Most High for our punishment, like a ball into a large country. That large country is America, Babylon the Great. That's why Babylon the Great is going to be destroyed by fire. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. Because at one time we were on top, and now we're on the bottom, and we are ashamed of ourselves. Let me look up the word shame in the Hebrew. Shame of thy house. You have a messy house, shame on you. Okay, shame, disgrace, dishonor, ignominy of nations, dishonor, disgrace. So we're disrespected, even unto this very day. So now let's come back over here. I'm sorry, go back to this article. So the white man enslaved Africans, Americans. We broke that down. The white man started both wars. The two world wars were started by Europeans. That's a fulfillment of, in part, Revelation 6. The white man killed Jews in extermination camps. But wait a minute, what color are the Jews? During that time period, they were also so-called, they looked just like the people that were killing them. They said, so what is this talking about? The white man invaded and destabilized countries, and that's what they do. The white man, that's Habakkuk Two, the white man killed each other in schools. The white man who slaughtered Native Americans. How did they get this great land of America? They call it the great land of America. It was great at one time. They took it. They took down the so-called North American Indians and the Seminole Indians, which was the tribe of Gad. It says in Genesis 49, the truth shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the end of Gad. That's how we know that the American Indians are Gadites. And you got Reuben, which is mostly in Florida. The white man is responsible for the most rapes and murders in history. The white man oppresses minority groups. The white man elects Donald Trump. So that's all I'm going to read on this. It's a short one.